Great. MedBricks webcast is a new kind of healthcare media channel to break the silo mentality and foster interdisciplinary thinking. Our mission is to fill that gap and to create a curiosity through different lenses, tapping the passion that guided the historical figures in medicine and bringing present-day groundbreaking research to the front lines. We interview physicians and leaders in the industry about present-day healthcare challenges on our live programming. Hello, welcome to the MedBricks webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. Welcome to the MedBricks webcast. This is Ramana Annamaraju. I'm the host. I'm not Albert Einstein. Maybe my guest is. So I have two guests today. Actually, I had my first business in Atlanta, Georgia. I started my own diagnostic. I'm not a doctor, but I started a diagnostic center in Atlanta. My first partner is Parikh. So I'm very familiar with the last name Parikh. So I'm going to introduce you another doctor. He's a doctor, but he's not a doctor. Dilip is also a real estate investor. He used to own a lot of hotels. So the doctor, is a ER doctor, looks like seem to be, and then he is into real estate big time. So let us bring him. Pranay Parikh, Dr. Pranay Parikh. His name is joining from Los Angeles. Let me introduce you. Welcome, Dr. Parikh.
Hey, how's it going?
I told you that Parikh family is very. I know a lot of them Parikhs in my life. My first partner is a Parikh, Dilip Parikh. He's watching in Atlanta. Hello, Dilip. But let me ask here. Tell me a little bit about your background. Just run your personal and professional background a little bit quick.
Yeah, so born and raised in California. I went to med school, as you heard, and always been kind of dabbling in different things. So I've been doing real estate, been doing art. I've done a lot of businesses, started businesses, closed businesses. And what I'm doing right now is really helping other doctors invest in real estate without being a landlord. So I bought my first apartment, small apartment, only 4 units, in 2018. And I thought that was it. I'll just buy one a year and retire in 10 to 15 years. But just realized I was putting so much work into doing the active real estate that there must be a better way. And I found that way by just connecting with a bunch of people and buying stuff together. And so that's what we do. We just get a bunch of doctors and other people as well, but a bunch of people together and buy a property and then also share in the expenses, but also in the profits together.
Yeah, you said that in your introduction in the LinkedIn. You said that you have a zero background in business. I don't believe that, because by default, with your last name, you have a 50% knowledge already because you are surrounded by a lot of motel owners and all those friends and families, right? So you have a very fair understanding of the real estate. So let me ask you, what's going on? I'm in Silicon Valley. Most of the buildings are empty here. Commercial estate is really down. What is going on with the real estate commercial side and residential side? There is a big demand for residential side. Tell us a little bit background, a little bit, before I go into the other ideas in the real estate side.
Yeah. So Silicon Valley, that's San Jose, San Francisco for the people that don't know. And that's what we would call Class A real estate, right? Some of the most expensive in the area. And it's kind of high risk and high reward because, and here I live in Los Angeles, so it's similar, right? Everything's so expensive that even doctors can't afford, really the super nice high rises. Like for example, in Los Angeles, there's one that's 4,500 for a one bedroom. I think even on a doctor's salary, you'd wonder if that was really worth it, right?
Yeah.
So what is happening is California is unfortunately having a population decrease because it's just No, not everyone can afford it. Here in SoCal, a house is $900,000 on average, right? So, and then everything else is expensive as well, right? Uh, the price of real estate gets reflected in everything, right? So if you go to a restaurant, since their rent is going to be a lot more expensive, their property tax is going to be a lot more expensive, the food is going to be a lot more expensive. So then when you go out to eat, your bills are a lot more on top of your mortgage, on top of your rent if you do that. So we like to invest in areas where the population is growing, where it's somewhat affordable, and that the jobs, the opportunities are growing as well, right? So California, of course, you can say there's a lot of great opportunities, but you don't have the population growth to back that up because California is really it's aged well. It's already matured, right? Now there's other cities and states like Phoenix, like Dallas, like Nashville, and less so Miami that are growing through that boom.
Yes.
California and SoCal and NorCal already went through.
Yeah, so I used to go to, my son went to the Vanderbilt, so I'm very familiar with the Nashville. Let me ask you, Pranay, but this is a real estate, the commercial real estate is, the story is everywhere same. Atlanta, even Nashville may be better, but most of the cities, New York, they're empty. This bubble, how they're surviving, either they made a lot of money through the commercial real estate and they're surviving still, or some other way it is something which is not is not adding up. Can you please tell us what is going on the commercial real estate side, if you don't mind?
Yeah, so everyone tends to couple everything together, right? What most people are talking about, because all the news articles and podcasts and stuff are all about catching the headlines and catching your attention, right? So the real big thing that's having a lot of issues right now is office. So, for
Yes.
example, in St. Louis, which you would consider a major metropolitan city, right?
Yeah.
A building sold a couple years ago for $200 million, right? 204 to be exact. And now it just recently sold for 3 million. So yeah, but what is happening in St. Louis is called a death spiral. So people leave, right? People leave certain buildings, jobs move out, right? So then the periphery, right? Haircut people, restaurants, convenience stores, they all start to shut down because less people are visiting, right? And now the people that are left have less things to do. So those jobs are going to leave. And so it's a death spiral. It just keeps me getting worse and worse and worse. So that's why no one wanted to buy that building because it was like 25% occupied. It had almost no one in it and this really high property tax, right? So the city itself is trying to put in a lot of money, get a lot of people to come back. But that's what you hear. That's where all the distress is. Now that there has been some foreclosures, defaults, and people who got way too much leverage. But that happens all the time on industrial apartment complexes, retail centers. But overall, it's office that's really, really struggling, and the rest are doing somewhat okay.
I know Dr. Kiran Patel from Tampa, Florida. I know him very well. When he started his practice, now he became one of the real estate moguls. He has $1 billion, more than $1 billion real estate investments there. So you are a $300 million, a young guy, you are, and you got the $300 million. Tell us how you got that portfolio, what kind of work you have done, and how did you get that kind of a portfolio?
Yeah, so in the starting, I have two other partners. They're both physicians, Dr. Peter Kim and Dr. Myth Jagopagasian. And in the starting, we reached out to people we knew. Hey, do you guys want to invest together? Because people knew that we were doing our own real estate investments and that they were going well. So that's what we did. We just got 50 people together and we bought a very small piece of a large deal. But now we've been able to buy whole apartment complexes. And
What
yeah, go ahead.
what kind of real estate you invest in? Residential or
Uh, it's called multifamily. So we buy, 100 to 200 units at a time.
It's a low income housing that is that is
No, no, just apartment complexes. So
apartment
like,
complexes.
you know, workforce. So regular, normal people. And then we have bought some higher end Class A apartments as well.
So tell me, you're wearing a two hats. One is that you got it from a medical side as a doctor. There is a risk tolerance, right? That the risk tolerance is very minimal when you're saving lives. But when you are doing a real estate investment, what is the risks that you take, and how do you apply both sides of the coin of the risk tolerance about that?
Yeah. So I think people don't take into account or they forget all the skills that you learned in medical school, getting into medical school, getting through residency, fellowship, if you did that, attending. Like, there's a lot of crossover in really anything you do. And you got to just, the soft skills, right? You got to learn a little bit of the knowledge, but you're able to pick up a lot of things pretty quickly. So, in terms of risk, for real estate, there's a couple things to think about. So one is, and the biggest, and the people that are having problems is debt, right? So in 2020, 21, 22, a lot of people, including a few of our deals, not most of them, but a few of our deals had variable rate loans. I'd say about 70 to 80% of all loans around that time were variable. That means your rate varies every month, which was fine when the interest rate was 0% for 10 years. But all of a sudden, it went from 0 to 5.5% in about 14 months. So that
Of
is
course,
one of. Mhm.
go ahead.
Yeah. So having that, and having that above your head is risky, right? And we didn't, we never thought it would go up that fast. But that's why we do fixed rate interest rate loans where the interest rate is locked in for 5, 7 years.
Oh, very good. So that's my friend is saying that he went to the Indian Motel Mono Association meeting. He's an accountant, actually CPA. He was telling me that I lived in Atlanta most of my life, so I'm very familiar with all the hotel investors. They were saying that almost 10%, they're asking 50% down payment nowadays, and then their hotels are not getting any finances. It's a struggling, they are all hotels are struggling. What can be my question to you is, can they change this to, I have a friend here who is right in San Jose, owns two hotels and struggling. Can we change that to the assisted living centers or something like that? Is it possible? What are the, have you thought about that any in that direction?
I personally haven't. It is possible. So if you have a small multifamily, say 8 to 20 units, you can change that into assisted living. It's a different process, right? You have to get specific permits. You have to have approval by your neighbors. So I tell people we're dumb doctors. So we do very, very simple real estate, right? If someone needs a place to live, right, it's kind of Maslow's hierarchy, right? Food and shelter is at the bottom. So that's why we really focus on that as opposed to office, for example, or in
Mhm.
retail shopping centers.
Yeah, that is a big. So a lot of. Have you thought about opportunity zones? The bill is kind of a, you get the tax benefits. So tell us a little bit of opportunity zones. I hear a lot about it. I don't know much about it. So
Yeah, so opportunity zones, very, very simplified, is a way for you to invest in an area that the US needs real estate in, and you can defer your capital gains. So say you sold a bunch of stock or you sold a house that you had a large gain for, so for a lot of people, maybe they bought a house in the 80s and now for 500, right? And now it's worth 2 million, or um, so you don't necessarily want to pay all of that in property tax. So the government says if you invest this money for 10 years, will decrease. Not only will you make money on that and not pay capital gains, you'll kick the can down for 10 years. And when you do pay taxes, it's going to be a lot less. So the cool thing about opportunity zones is that there's a lot of places that you wouldn't think of that's an opportunity zone. That's an opportunity zone. So for example, in Los Angeles, a place called Koreatown, which is actually super nice to live in, that I actually lived in when I was an intern, is an opportunity zone. So it's a way to park your money in Los Angeles, that's relatively safe. The devil is in the details, though. You have to make sure you're picking the right person that is really able to do all the paperwork, because it's kind of onerous, and you also get charged a bunch of fees to do that. So pluses and minuses.
Pranay, I hear some from the developers, my friends, I hang around with them sometimes. One of the things they complain about is in the California, the construction costs are extremely high. I don't know much about real estate. I'm a zero knowledge in this one, but he is saying the when compared to the Atlanta or any other place, construction costs are extremely high. So that is a bigger challenge in the particularly in San Francisco, Silicon Valley. Tell us a little bit about the construction costs in California. The governor Newsom, we met recently. The group that I was with, they met. They were saying that they are allocating $2 billion for this kind of opportunity zone, the low income housing. Tell us a little bit about that. What do you think of that? The high cost of labor and all those things with the opportunity zone.
So people might see the extremely expensive costs in San Francisco, but they might not realize San Francisco is 7 miles by 7 miles. It's tiny, right? It's tiny. And
Very tiny.
there are all these laws and stipulations that mean, and historic buildings, right? The buildings in San Francisco are beautiful, but they're tiny, right?
Yeah, yeah,
So you get a 1,500 square foot house for $2
yeah,
million.
yeah,
So the one of the reasons construction is so expensive is that you have to get past all of these government agencies and rules and regulations. The second thing is wages are more expensive, right? And there's more competition. So we personally, well, we don't do development because there's a lot of risk in development because you could be building, well, you can buy the land and then plan on building, and your permits could take years to get, right? And you're just
yes.
sitting on that money, right? Paying fees, paying taxes on it. Second, we don't invest in California. It's really, you got to be a super duper expert. You got to have deep connections with the local government. The people who are able to kind of navigate that maze
Mm.
are able to do very well, but it's a very handful of people. And I wouldn't trust someone that said, oh, yeah, I live in California, we're going to go build something. No, the only people I would work with if I did do that are people who have been in the area and have been building for at least 20 years.
Where do you invest which areas you invest now, your active investment right now?
So we do the main places are Texas and Arizona. So and really majority in Arizona. We like Arizona for um, three things. One, yeah, so population growth and employment, right? Two, the two biggest expenses after your mortgage payment are insurance and property taxes. So a lot of places property taxes have been really expensive, but the property tax in Phoenix is capped at 5% higher every year. So that means that you're able to really know what you're gonna spend for the 5 years that we hold the property. And number two, because Phoenix is protected from natural disasters, unlike Texas, unlike Florida, unlike Oklahoma, where we've also invested, the insurance cost is very reasonable because similarly in California, a lot of insurance companies are leaving Texas, they're leaving Florida, and that means whoever is left over has a monopoly. And one of our properties in Florida, for example, they raise our tax from 100,000 to 300,000 in a single year. So it just takes away. That's basically the profit that we would have had for that year.
You're saying that because of natural disasters, that the insurance companies are leaving Florida and all those
Mhm.
places. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, and
Because
then the ones that are left, they have a monopoly, so they're able to. There's no more competition, so they're
they
really
must
able
they
to raise
can.
up rates for as
So
much as they
real
want.
estate is struggling in Florida then in that case, right?
Yeah, we actually won't invest in Florida anymore because of that. There's just because also the property tax has gone up through the roof. The city and the state are just struggling to make money. So what do? They go after the property owners.
Have you
So
yeah, have you thought about Georgia at all?
Georgia's kind of hit or miss. So when the economy is hurting, like now, the Georgia market gets hurt in terms of occupancy, rent collections, and all that. So right now it's kind of back in a dip. But the last couple of years it's been very hot, and now it's kind of going back down.
And somebody who is Steve Chinani, his name, is joining from Connecticut. He is a more of a real estate guy. He's in everywhere. He's an entrepreneur. He is into all the. Steve, welcome to the. Let me bring all three together.
Hey, Pranay, great to see you. I'm a builder, a developer. I've done about $200 million of building development over the years.
Hi,
And
Steve.
I'm not into it anymore. I did have this on my desk, so I'm going to show it to you. This is the Home Builders National Home Builders Award,
How cool!
4 to 5 million
Congrats.
homes. Um, I did a lot of that. I was putting up a tower in Stamford, Connecticut, in 2008, and the market collapsed. It would have been at that time, Trump, it was a Trump name. I'd gone and met the Donald himself. But today you wouldn't put his name on it. But so yeah, so I'm not doing any building at the moment, but I'm looking to get back into it. I'd love to talk to you about that down the line, including investing into hotels, which I think is great, passive. You can leverage, you've got one or two properties, and then you cross collateralize, and you can go from 2 hotels to 50 hotels in 2 years by just cross collateralizing.
No,
It's,
Steve,
it's
we don't
very
want
good.
to pitch here, but I don't know. He is a Gujarati last name, so he knows few hotels a lot more than you and me all of together.
That's true. That's true. So right now, what I'm doing is I've launched a new company to solve diabetes. Most Indians have diabetes. About half or more than half have diabetes. So we have products like this blood sugar bully.
Mm.
Uh, this is one of our products. Uh,
It's a natural based products, right, Steve? They're like Ayurveda and those kind of things, right?
yeah. These are all Ayurveda. The core ingredient is turmeric, water soluble turmeric. We have 2 patents on this technology. We're the only one in the world with water soluble turmeric. So our
Cool.
products are 10 times more absorbed than anything else in the market. And then we have Bosk products like this. These are skincare, astaxanthin. They remove your wrinkles. They actually work. And there are supplements like this that are also
Yeah.
made by
Just I came here to hi Christina. That I see you. I see Christina in the background with you. Christina
Yep.
is always my favorite guest. She is a psychologist, she's an excellent psychologist there. Hi Christina. But Pranay, I think you have a very good real estate understanding now. You made the portfolio huge. How can we? All the doctors can. Then they wanted to do that, but they don't have any background. A lot of times they say, shall I go this way, that way? They all get confused. So, what advice you give to the doctors that they wanted to invest in real estate?
Yeah, I think you first got to kind of think about what your main goal is, right? And us doctors, we really have trouble giving up control, right? So if that's you,
Yeah.
then the passive real estate might not make sense. And if you're going to just go to sleep every night stressed, wondering what's going to happen to your properties, maybe you need to go the active route. So that's actually for most physicians, that's what I want them to think about, right? Are you going to do the active or are you going to do the passive? Just know you can't just buy one property. You got to buy 10, you got to buy 20. You really, you got to be like Steve, right? $200 million worth of building. If you want to have a
over 20 years, though, over a
20,
20-year period.
yeah. Uh, that's not a long time, Steve. Uh, so you got to have a portfolio, right? 10-ish, right? 5 to 10 at least, to give you any substantial work. Otherwise, you're working really hard for not much, right?
Yeah.
I like the passive side. That's why I do it. We do apartment complexes. You're able to be, one of many investors. All you do is you look at your investment. It's direct deposit into your bank account every month. You get a K1, which is a tax document. You just take a look at it. You send it to your accountant, and that's it. So it's pretty much no work for an investment. The only really important thing with that, because you do have no control, it's super duper important that you take the time up front to make sure you trust who you're working with.
Pranay, have you ever thought about that building close to apartment complexes, close to the hospitals, where traveling nurses or the locum doctors can stay there? That's a big area that is missing, in my view, because I place locum doctors. So tell us a little bit about that. If it is like to listen to your idea about that.
So we don't do any development. There is high risk, high reward. People who know what they're doing have been able to do development for a while. I would trust them. I wouldn't trust me to do development because, as Steve will tell you, right, there's a lot of things that you
Too much
really
risk.
have to know.
It's too much risk. The biggest thing, Pranay, is
Yeah,
your interest rate. I'm a big monetarist
yeah, yeah,
policy.
yeah, yeah.
I'm also an international best-selling author. My books have sold about 10 million copies. My next book is more on interest rate policy. But the key, so I really appreciated your comments about how the rate cycle can completely make a project non-viable down the line. But so that's the biggest problem with development. You start a project today that's viable. By the time you're ready to put the project in the market for sale, you're in a recession. This happened to me in 2008. I had four completed mansions, $5 to $6 million each. I had two towers that were ready for construction in Stamford, Connecticut. I had properties all across, including in Florida and in upstate Connecticut. And all of a sudden, the market collapsed. And you have a portfolio. At the time, that portfolio was worth about 65, $70 million that I had, my own portfolio. And when Lehman Brothers filed bankruptcy, I don't think that portfolio was worth even 20 million.
Mm.
You see,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
that's the
yeah.
lesson I learned because I took a bloodbath. And you don't know with development, what Pranay is doing is the smart thing. He's buying income producing properties, adding value to it, upgrading them,
Yeah.
upping the rents, upping the cap rates.
Mm.
And then if you're in a good cycle where interest rates are falling, then your cap rate multiples are going up. So your asset value is also jumping up at the same time. So it's the you got the Goldilocks
Mhm.
period, when that happens. Right now we're at a point where rates are going to only trend down.
Yeah.
This is the time to lock in income producing assets. And Pranay, this is what I think this is the pitch you should make to your investors. This is the time you're getting into the next low rate cycle is about to start. Get in now, buy the assets relatively
Right.
cheap,
Yeah.
and then go back. And
Steve, both of you can answer this question quickly. What do you think of foreign investments like India and buying in properties in Caribbean islands? What do you think of this buying in international properties?
you want me to talk about that? I think it's not. I don't think it's a good idea because I think with real estate, you want something within driving distance, preferably. Because you're going to manage it. You're going to have to manage it. If you're having a portfolio, it doesn't work on remote. Nothing works on remote.
But whatever Pranay is doing is very good. You can build a $310 million portfolio, so we should all follow him, whatever it is. Hats off to you, Pranay. Is really the next generation Indians that I see that one of you that you have such a right insight into this kind of a business is so complex. People are struggling in the real estate business. Some of them are. My friend has a hotels here, and he's having a lot of problems. So it is really, really, that you found a niche market that really succeed. But changing the gears now. Thank you for joining. That's the Pranay Parikh. If you can hang around, I'm going to present an entirely different topic on space medicine, advances in space, how the medicine. If you hang around, and then I come back and ask you a little bit more questions about, you can give us some, how do they reach you and all those things. Okay, let me very quick presentation about the space medicine. So I'm going to bring all of them side on the side. All three can watch any, they can jump in. That is the Pranay Parikh. Parikh is a very synonymous name in Gujarati, very real estate. He's connected to the real estate actually. But anyway, it is a new frontier of medicine is a sign, as they say, exploring space, enhancing life is the physical, mental, social, spiritual lives that they're going to enhance with the space program. People think space is something not connected with it, but it does all those things. So what they it is a space is a health hazards. The space radiation. One of the things is what these high gamma rays
and the protons, a lot of high velocity particles hit this body, human body, that they produce ionization. They knock off electrons in the atoms in cells have an atoms, right? The atoms, they knock off electrons, then cellular chaos starts, and the tumors produce. It damages DNA. Not only the problem with the DNA damage is it is passing to the children also. You get the birth defects, you get the wound healing, is cancers, and it is a big problem. Space radiation is really, think about it, and then inventions come out the space radiation, because space health hazards are very critical to understand, because we can find other solutions on the planet Earth itself. So the other one is that the space radiation is actually James Van Allen space radiation is on the above the Earth, because Earth is protected by ozone layer, and then there is a magnetic a donut shape, that's called a Van Allen belt. It is actually all the ions trapped in the ion around the Earth, that was trapped. So that is also dangerous ones. So Professor Van Allen is a physicist. First time he found out the space radiation, he was one of the balloons. He was invented balloons going to the space. That he was a very, very, very advanced physicist, University of Iowa from. And I want to mention his name. He did a tremendous contributions in the space radiation, science of the space radiation. After that, so it is basically is electrons get knocked out, and then they get the DNA damage is done, because not only the standby cells also get affected. That is a bigger problem in the space radiation. That's why if you go to CT scan or MRI, it's always problem, and you can see that in the future. That is a problem. Then space radiation, NASA Specialized Center of Research, for example, they do Fornes laboratories, they do GI cancer risk. I didn't know this. Space radiation, it increases the cancer risk. Okay, so it increases for the GI cancers, but I didn't know that that particularly affects the GI tracts, digestive system. That's a very interesting thing about the space radiation. So that's why they got a big grant. Fornes Lab is a Dr. Fornes, Junior MD. He got the big contract, and this one. So then you get the space medicine is in all fields. Oncology. Pranay is not here. He is working today. He has gone. So thanks for him, and thanks for joining, Pranay. While you're working, he joined with us. Thank you so much. Anyway, Steve is going to be there. I'm going to ask Steve all his what he's doing in the future. So he is also a very science guy. So you can jump in any time with Steve. So space medicine, yeah, space medicine, oncology, neurology, cardiology, psychiatry, all of them are affected by their space medicine affects all of those fields, and the inventions come out of for those fields from space medicine. So I want to tell you about this. For example, diagnostic therapeutic devices. For example, in the space medicine, produced numerous diagnostic devices and therapeutic devices, in fact. And then pharmaceuticals, and then photoceuticals. A lot of pharmaceuticals, a lot of drugs came out, and then a new branch of science is called photoceuticals came out from space medicine. I'm going to explain you a little bit about photoceuticals, what they are. In the actually photoceuticals says that Dr. Heinz Furnace, I think is a Fines. His name is from Austria, Denmark. He won the Nobel Prize. He found out that light can heal some healing power. It has. It can heal some of the diseases. He won the Nobel Prize for that, actually, in the 1800s, 1900s, but 1900s. But Tina Karu, another Russian physicist, also saying that the light has that particular powers to heal some of the cancers. But a lot of people never thought that serious, because light reflects in general, it doesn't do anything. So they wanted to check. What they want to do is, because the interplanetary, or if you go to Moon or Mars, we need to have how do you grow plants in those environment in space. So they want to NASA gave a grant to a unknown guy. His name is Ron Ignatius. He's a not well-known guy. He's a technician. He has a company called Quantum Devices Company, and then he was working with the LED lights. And then he said that what is the light effect on the plants? That they gave a small grant for him. So in that grant, it's a very something peculiar happened. People, he hired some people there, and they're working. They have the scratches from the plants, right? You get a lot of scratches from the plants. They're healing extremely fast, reduces the sorry that I went to the too far, I think. Yeah, they went the plants or get scratches on the hands of the workers. They're handling a lot of plants. So what they did was they're healing also fast. They were surprised about that. So he reported this finding to the NASA gave the grant to them. To the Ron Ignatius gave a small grant from the NASA to check the effect of the light on the plants. So that was when NASA really paid attention, and then they came up with this one. It's called photoceuticals. It's called reduces oxidative stress. What do you do is free radicals. It means when you're exposed to the space radiation, or if you're just not even some other exposures you have, you can digest even so many ways the radiation things. So they can knock off electrons. They're called free radicals. A atom without electron become a free radical. That is can cause a lot of problems and tumors and all those things, cancers eventually. So free radicals, antioxidants. That's why it's good for them, because they pair up the oxygen. They pair up the electron. They're lacking the oxidative stress. So basically, it is the free radicals are neutralized through the antioxidant. So taking antioxidant is always good. So is oxidative stress on the is reducing the photoceuticals. A new way of treating the oxidative stress is through light itself. You can throw a bunch of light on it, and then you can reduce the oxidative stress. Good light. That's so So the pharmaceuticals actually then after Ron Ignatius died, actually after that super pulse laser technology came out. It is a is a multimodality. Recently, this is a light therapy, red light therapy. Basically, this is a FDA approved for fibromyalgia. This is a very interesting light therapy. I thought it's a cuckoo in the beginning, but more I study about it, I was fascinated by this. FDA approved for the light therapy for the fibromyalgia. Sorry about that. 1 second. So the second one is this photoceuticals. Actually, what they do is, photos. Now they have a new treatment for the cancer, photodynamic therapy. And what it does is, you take a photosensitizer. This is a very, it is a very sensitive to the light. They give a drug, photophrine. It's called. It's a drug. You take the drug, you inject it, or you can swallow it. It goes to the tumor, and then when you expose the light to on that one, it destroys that's because the oxidation it just destroys the tumor cells. All the cancer cells are gone. So this is the new therapy is coming up, particularly skin cancers and the bladder cancer. This is a very effective treatment for the photoceuticals. Just the light therapy, photodynamic therapy is called. It is really it came out of NASA. Can you believe that this NASA really came out with a lot of spin-off of NASA? Now there is a new spin-off of NASA Health. As you know, woman over 50, they have menopausal issues. I talk with Dr. Catherine Hansen all the times. She's an expert in menopause. So this is one of the hot flashes. They get chills, so they go through a lot of psychological and physical pains. So this is menopause is a big problem. So NASA spin-off came out with something extraordinary that is called. NASA came out with just 1 second is something. Okay, NASA came out dresses for menopause. This is high tech fabrics. Is basically very high tech fabric. It's a phase change. It does like a water becomes ice becomes water. That's called a phase change. This clothes does a shift phase change shifts. It does. Amazing. Think about that. Dresses for menopause. You can wear the dress. It adjusts the temperature stabilization. It does automatic. It came from where I want to mention that because it came from the gloves, NASA gloves technology. That's the left side. You see the gloves technology? It came from a NASA spin-off. Glove technology actually came out to the into the high-tech fabrics now. You can buy it. 51apparel.com. You can buy the clothes, these clothes for the menopause clothes. These are temperature stabilization, high-tech clothes. They use a very high advanced kind of physics of phase change physics. That's a really a tremendous idea. Is it recently came out this the dresses 51apparel.com. You can go and buy it. I have nothing to do with the company. I'm not promoting, but you can buy it. That's just a service for the people. So this is really a menopausal woman. There is a high tech spin-off came from NASA itself. Space is producing human health. There's a strip test for the the strip test is came out for the what is that? I can't. What is that? Can you read that one? Strip test. What is that says?
Shingles.
Shingles. Yeah. I can't read it. Yeah. Shingles came out. Shingles for the new strip test came out for that from saliva. They can do that. More the radiology imaging processing, all the image processing and CT scan and MRI came from a moon processing. Jet Propulsion Laboratory from Pasadena. They did that, and then that technology we are using now to do the processing of the medical imaging. Then there is a balance test. I do sell balance. I used to work with a balance test. That people with the people with the orthohypostatic functions, they have a inner ear problem, their imbalances, they can fall. So this balance test is actually invented. They found out because that the orientation in the space is very difficult. So they found a balance test. They found actually this was discovered by they found this test a device through Russian Mir space station, not the NASA. Mir space station did that, and then bone test. Then the next is a brain train program, neurofeedback. That's a mental health program because in the space is a loneliness is a big thing. People international space stations, people stay there for years. So that's a big challenge how to live there in that closed atmosphere, closed container. So they invented the neurofeedback system. So they're Christian and probably know a lot more about that. Neurofeedback systems, that is for the mental health, and then is for the stress. Actually, came out of NASA. Space pharmaceutical Merck actually microgravity. What they do is a pure the protein crystal growth. They take because of all the crystals you can see in the for example endothelium, all the cells because of the gravity they are flat, two-dimensional here on the Earth. When you take it to the space microgravity, they go three-dimensional. You can see the function much better. You can design the drugs better. That's what they did. Keytruda is an immunotherapy drug for the skin cancer. Actually, Merck has that. They really went there to the space, and their delivery mechanism was improved because they redesigned the Keytruda to understand after understanding the three-dimensional structure of the crystal. So that's a very amazing, in my view. So you can do a lot of pharmaceutical for osteoporosis. You got the medicines there, the allergy. These are all muscular dystrophy, CAS 205, that is Japanese one, and different space agencies are contributing these medicines, and a lot of pharmaceuticals coming from these space agencies. It's amazing. In fact, space medicine is a new frontier. Um, so space pharma shelf life, for example, they're increasing shelf life because you're in space. They're doing a lot of experiments on temperature and humidity. So 80 degrees, we have a problem with the COVID. For example, Pfizer has to be under 0 degrees or something minus. So this you can do. They're trying to do the shelf life, increasing the shelf life in the room temperatures. That's what they're doing in the NASA and other space agencies. They're working on the International Space Station right now. So space surgeries you can actually in the space you can do surgeries, appendicitis surgery, gallbladder surgeries. Challenges are needles act like a bullets almost, you know that, because they go, so you have to be very careful about the needles. And then see, but if somebody dies in the space, is a burial manual is basically secret, but it's not secret. They throw them out in the space. Probably that's what I think. It's not much of a secret, but maybe there is any technique. I don't know. So that's kind of a fun facts. Then space hookups and the birth control pills also. There are women go there, so they're pain, sleep, cold, same old medicines here, but the shelf life is different. They're trying to make it shelf life big, longer. And birth control pills, that if there is a hookup in space. uh, so so what is space facts? Space completely silent. There is no, because there is no sound. It doesn't travel anything except the light. Nothing will travel through space. Spacesuit costs about $12 million. That's expensive dress you can find. $12 million each suit costs. The the sun's mass is almost 99.886% of the total mass of the solar system. So 99% is the sun's mass. Only we are 0.14% is the rest of the planets. Can you believe that? You can fit 1 million Earths in the sun. I didn't even know these kind of things. 1 million Earths you can plug into the sun. How big is that? Think about that. So those are the fun facts about space. So the NASA Human Health is that they do telemedicine, came out, disease models, psychological stress responses, nutrition and cell behavior. All of them are there working on the NASA. NASA is really producing a lot of human health. A lot of people say, why are we spending money on the space? This is the one reason you spend on it, because you see the effects, then you see direct effects on human health. So space medicine fellowship, you can go, doctors, internal medicine doctor or anybody who is interested, they can take the space fellowship actually. NASA offers a 6-week fellowship for NASA. Only six of them allowed every year. So you should apply. If somebody is doctor looking for a fellowship, is a space medicine interested, should apply. UCLA has a 2-year program, fellowship program of space medicine, and the Mayo Clinic also has this opportunity. So you can do fellowship in space medicine. It's not just it is a science itself. So where no man has gone before, any physician can go. That is a Dr. Mae Jemison. Mae Jemison. She went there. She's in the space. She's a doctor, is a medical doctor. So thank you for watching. So let me bring Steve. So where no man has gone before, any physician can go. That's my message to you all. Is a science is wonderful. Physics is the center of all of that. I'm a physics guy. So now I'm going to bring an engineering guy. Steve Chinani.
Thank you, Ramana. Great, very interesting talk about the space medicine. Fascinating. I really think it's relevant given how much emphasis and is now on space exploration. So we're doing something more down to earth here, in a sense that here on Earth we have figured out a way to make polyphenols more absorbable.
So talk about the turmeric innovations a little bit. Talk about what is turmeric. Everybody knows Ayurveda, turmeric. So talk about a little bit about the turmeric effect on the body, and what are the things you found out.
So Turmeric Innovations is my new company, and this is really the invention that was the genesis for this company. Is the water soluble technology that we developed to take curcumin. Turmeric does not dissolve in water; only dissolves in oil. So because it only dissolves in oil, the absorption is very poor in the body. Mm-hmm. When you take turmeric through the mouth, It goes in your stomach. And in your stomach, 98% is destroyed by stomach acid. And secondly, it's only water soluble, oil soluble. So what you really get into your body, maybe 1 or 2% max from the turmeric that you actually eat. What we have done is made sublingual absorption. So our products absorb through the mouth. You take a lozenge, I'll demonstrate it. You take a lozenge out. A lozenge looks like this. It's just a little box. Inside it is a card, tells you all about it. And then you have a lozenge. These are lozenges. So you have 10 lozenges in a packet. What you do is you take one lozenge out, you pop the packet, and you leave it on the side of your tongue, on the side of your cheek. You leave it there 20 minutes. It'll absorb straight from here into the bloodstream. First in the world. Nobody in the world has this technology. We have 2 patents on it. And why is this technology so important? Because with this absorption through the mouth, we achieve 93% absorption. Our box says 85. That's just out of conservatism. But it's a 93% absorption versus 2% every other way. And what we have done clinical studies that prove that you would have to take 10 capsules of turmeric, 500 milligrams each, 10 capsules to get the same absorption as one lozenge. And this has only 100 milligrams of water-soluble curcumin.
Let us talk about the benefits. Can you tell us a little bit the benefits and what the peer-reviewed studies done? And are there any peer-reviewed studies on the turmeric and
Sure.
benefits?
Getting to it. So because of the absorption, you get the benefit. If you take half an aspirin, your headache doesn't go. But you take the whole aspirin, one aspirin, the headache is fully gone. So there is a certain inflection point at which molecules take effect. These are based on polyphenols. Curcumin is a polyphenol. Now, polyphenol is an organic compound found in nature. There are many different types of polyphenols. But these polyphenols are natural antioxidants in the human body. So that's why this works, because curcumin is one of the most strongest polyphenols known to man. And there's also curcuminoids that these contain. Curcuminoids are antiviral. They're virucides. We use the full spectrum of the curcumin. So we get 30% curcuminoids in our product, which means our products actually work for coughs and colds, stomach acid, indigestion, arthritis, diabetes, memory loss. This is a memory loss product with additional ingredients added. This one has bacopa or Brahmi, Indian Brahmi, in addition to the curcumin. So we've developed a range of products to solve all these important therapeutic classes of illnesses. And they also taste delicious. So we have a whole range of product. Then we have new products coming in the market that have 1 year supply of vitamin D. This is vitamin D and curcumin. It's a 1 year supply. We're giving these away free. A full year supply, you only pay shipping and handling. You get a full year supply, and this is launching very soon online through the Amazon stores. The idea is we want to get to know you. We want to get a little information about you, just your email address and name. We're not going to bombard you with sales calls, but it's a way to get the word out. So we're going to be selling about 1 million of these in the next 12 months.
So tell us a little bit benefits. What are the benefits? Peer-reviewed studies. What is a peer-reviewed study? Turmeric, everybody talks about the benefits or inflammation, and reduces inflammation. One thing everybody knows about it. But my daughter was having yesterday. I was with the Father's Day. She was having a turmeric chai latte.
So those turmeric chai lattes won't do much for you, because it's going to go in your stomach. 98% destroyed. You're get a 2% absorption. You'll have to have 10, 15, 20 lattes before you get any therapeutic benefit.
Yeah.
You may get psychological benefit, but therapeutically it's minimal. So our products are clinically studied. So we have added ingredients. For example, this is pain aways. This actually works. It's more potent than an NSAID, than taking acetaminophen or aspirin. People who take this swear by it for backaches, knee pain, joint pains, body aches. Um, we've developed a range of products. We've developed some products for arthritis, uh, which are all based on clinical data. They're all studied. I'll show you some of them. I have them here. This one is a big seller for us. This one it's called Turoflex. It's better than Osteoflex. Turoflex is our curcumin plus boswellia extract. And this really works for pre-workouts, post-workouts, arthritis, again, joint inflammation. Brings the inflammation down. You get true, genuine benefit. This is really the biggest seller of all, and the one that for India is most applicable, and even in the US. It's a blood sugar bully. It's targeted at pre-diabetics and diabetics. Roughly, in the US, there are roughly 50 to 60 million pre-diabetics, people who are going to get diabetes, but they don't know it yet. And about 50 to 60 million actual diabetics.
Yeah.
But why is diabetes so bad? Diabetes eventually kills all your organs. It starts because your islets of Langerhans in the pancreas don't produce enough insulin. And then you also can get diabetes from insulin intolerance, where your body doesn't absorb the insulin, and then you don't do the ADP to ATP conversion and get energy. The ADP to ADP conversion, the Krebs cycle, it's all dependent on your body's ability to absorb glucose. And so glucose doesn't absorb, eventually cancer cells will grow, sugar will circulate in your body, in your blood, and then the cancer cells feed on the sugar, and just like and they feed.
How do they find you, these products, where they can, this turmericinnovations.com? What is that called?
Turmericinnovations.com.
Okay.
TURMERIC innovations.com.
So you give any special for our show people when they order through the show?
When you check out, type in first 10, FIRST10. First 10, you get a 10% discount. That's for people on the show today. It's not publicized, it's an internal code. But when you're checking out on the whole order, on the entire order, you will get 10% and you'll get free shipping, and sales tax is included in the price. So it's a one price. There's no gimmicks. We don't market to you. We don't sell you, bombard you with emails afterwards.
Yeah.
People who come to us never leave us. They start the product and they never get off it. We're also
Thank you, sir. Yeah, go ahead.
So we're
Finish
also
up.
launching beverages, a whole range of drinks, innovative drinks with turmeric and energy, the turmeric and caffeine, turmeric with fruit. There's mulberry, so there are many brands. One brand is turmeric waters. Think of vitamin water.
I take in curry, turmeric curry. I take it.
So curries are good, but again, you're not getting much absorption because
Yeah.
that turmeric is dissolved in the mustard oil in the curry,
Yeah,
and
that's a
then
good part.
yeah, and it goes in the stomach, and it's very little is absorbed.
Yeah.
So it's all about absorption. Your
Yes.
benefit is directly correlated to absorption, and our products are 10 times more absorbed than anything else in the market because we're the only one in the world with 2 patents for oral absorption, straight from mouth. I still have mine in my mouth. It'll be there for 20 minutes. Christina keeps it in the mouth for 30 to 40 minutes, and
Yeah.
she's the all-time champion of turmeric innovations.
Thank you so much, Steve. You're already wonderful. Always a great guest for me and Christina, of course. And thank you, Pranay Parikh. Give insights into your $310 million real estate. Thank you for joining with us today.
I can just say one more thing, if I may. There's a lot of research on our website. We have blogging system on the site. There's also another site we have launched called what is it? Diabetes Blog. Diabetesblog.org. It's for diabetics. So on both these sites, turmericinnovations.com and diabetesblog.com, .org. You can go and buy product and use the same code first10 for the discount. But on the turmericinnovations.com site, there is a FAQ section. It explains in great detail how each product works. Bacopa, Brahmi, Boswellia, Gymnema Silvestri, all of that stuff.
Thank you so much. It is a really honor to talk with you. And Christina, she's not to say, she didn't say much in there. So it's a fun talking with you, both of you. Thank you, Pranay. Thank you for joining with us. Great program. And I hope I educated a little bit about space medicine. Next time, tomorrow, I'm going to have another doctor from Connecticut is joining with me.
Oh,
She's an endocrinology. Actually, you should talk with her. She's a diabetic specialist. She's an endocrinologist joining with me. Beatrice Nelson Olsen. She's joining tomorrow, same time. So see you tomorrow. I'm producing a show on holograms. What is holographic therapy? Holograms can be a very powerful treatment tool. So Christian again also come down and talk about it. So good night, all of you guys. Good night,
thank you
all
all.
of you. Good
Thank
night.
you. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye.
Telling their stories through our patented designs that can be worn on scrubs, t-shirts, printed on conference bags, and endless other promotional materials. Daily Wear for Medicine is the first ever of its kind to create curiosity in medicine through visual art. We at MedBricks are celebrating unsung heroes of the past who made enormous contributions to the field of medicine through our unique campaign called Daily Wear for Medicine. You can wear it, carry it, and give it